We all face moments that test our patience. Do you ever feel frustrated when external chaos dictates your internal state? Are you tired of losing your composure over minor annoyances or the actions of others? Imagine navigating your day with unwavering tranquility, not because the world suddenly becomes perfect. We know that's not happening, but because you've become your own stronghold. Ancient Stoic philosophers, amidst uncertainty and adversity, discovered a path to inner peace, a power independent of anyone or anything else. They learned to master their emotions, refusing to be swayed by anger or frustration. Today, drawing from that ancient wisdom, you'll uncover how to achieve the same. This isn't abstract theory. It's practical knowledge for governing your inner world. Stay with us until the end, as the principles we'll reveal step by step are the key to a tranquility most only dream of. Don't miss a single moment. Every piece of advice is crucial. If this message resonates and you're ready to seize control of your peace, show your support by liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more tools to help you become your best self. The unvarnished truth about annoyance. Let's be clear. When you get annoyed, the problem isn't external. The problem is internal. Often it's not due to an unforgivable offense, but because your expectations weren't met. Yes, that's the root of your frustration. What you anticipated versus what occurred. You expected understanding, gentle treatment, or for others to act as you would. But life and people rarely follow your script. Instead of accepting this simple reality, you fight against it, and that's where the conflict begins. Stop viewing anger as inevitable. It's a reaction programmed by your beliefs and unfulfilled desires. Someone interrupts you, doesn't thank you, makes a mistake. Is it truly that significant, or does it sting because your expectation of perfection was shattered? Sometimes we simply crave justice, respect, or attention, and when these aren't given, we feel attacked, and our ego defensively lashes out with anger. Yet this defense serves no purpose. It fixes nothing, changes nothing, only drains you, and worse, clouds your judgment. How often have you uttered words you later regretted during a fit of rage? How many relationships have you damaged by not holding your tongue? The key lies in the pause. When you feel that surge of irritation, don't suppress it, confront it. Ask yourself, what exactly did I expect that didn't happen? Sometimes this question alone helps you realize you're reacting like a spoiled child. In that instant, you regain your power. True power isn't about controlling others, it's about controlling yourself. If you practice this daily, even for a second, you're taming the beast within. It's not repression, it's understanding. It's disarming the bomb before it explodes in your face. Someone says something foolish that irritates you. Breathe. Don't react instinctively. Consider whether your expectation was realistic or if you simply wanted the world to cater to your whims. What bothers you is often not the other person, but the narrative you've constructed in your mind about how things should be. Ancient philosophers taught that things don't disturb us. Our interpretations of them do. The path to tranquility begins when you stop trying to control what you cannot. You can't prevent people from being thoughtless or selfish, but you can prevent their actions from disrupting your peace. True control resides in your mind, in how you respond, in your attitude. When you realize that anger stems from your own unfulfilled expectations, you begin to see everything with detachment. You learn to observe situations without the fog of emotion. This detachment allows you to act maturely, not like a petulant child. The situation might remain challenging, but you are no longer its captive. With practice, this becomes second nature. You no longer need to yell to feel strong or argue to be right. True strength is maintaining composure when everyone else loses their head. Your peace is non-negotiable. It doesn't depend on others, but on your choices. So each time something angers you, return to the source. What did you expect? Is it worth sacrificing your peace for this? If the answer is no, let go. Don't cling to what you can't control. Let others be as they are, while you choose to be who you want to be, someone who masters their inner world, someone who remains unbroken, someone who understands that peace isn't found externally, it's built internally with resolute effort. The potent force of silence. When someone's words wound you, when you feel your blood boil from injustice or disrespect, the easy response is to unleash every thought. to retort with equal aggression, to shout defensively, to put the other person in their place. But what if the most devastating reply wasn't a word but silence? Anger needs fuel to grow, and often that fuel is the thoughtless things we say. How many arguments began because someone couldn't keep quiet? How many relationships crumbled, not from the core issue itself, but from what was screamed in the midst of the storm? What you don't say can't be used against you. What you don't release can't wound. And silence, when born of intelligence, not cowardice, possesses a power no words can match. There's an old story that perfectly illustrates this. A student asked a master what to do about anger, and the master replied, "If someone offers you a gift and you don't accept it, to whom does the gift belong?" The student said, "To the one who offered it." The master concluded, "Then, if someone throws their anger at you and you don't receive it, that anger remains theirs." That's the magic of silence. It's not being weak-willed. It's a conscious decision not to engage in the other person's game. When you remain silent, you have the opportunity to listen to yourself internally. You can discern if your reaction stems from hurt, ego, or pride. If you respond immediately, you're surrendering control to the emotion. You're not choosing, you're reacting instinctively. And living reactively is living without freedom, like a slave. True control is demonstrated in those seconds when you could erupt but choose to be silent and observe what's happening within you. In moments of tension, your first action should be to breathe deeply and pause. Close your mouth, even if you're seething internally. By doing so, you don't weaken yourself, you gain space. Silence allows you to observe, and when you observe, you cease to be blinded by emotion. You can see beyond the offense. You can realize that perhaps it's not even worth responding, or that the best response is to act later, when you're calm, with greater wisdom and dignity. Ancient sages taught that we don't control what others do or say, but we do control how we react. They reminded us that it's not events themselves that disturb us, but our opinion of them. And sometimes, the best way to change that opinion isn't by winning an argument, but by giving yourself time for the emotion to subside. That time is silence. Silence isn't avoidance, it's protection. It's intelligence. It's giving yourself time to avoid uttering something you'll later regret, because words are incredibly powerful, and often their power is destructive. You can shatter trust, deeply wound someone, damage something beyond repair, but if you know when to be silent, you'll prevent unnecessary harm and keep your self-respect intact. With practice, this becomes a potent tool. You'll begin to notice that when provoked, you no longer feel the urge to respond, to defend your ego. You realize you can remain peaceful even if the other person is enraged, that you can navigate life calmly without needing to win every argument. Because true victory isn't having the last word, it's having the last calm. Yes, it will be challenging initially. Your mind will scream for you to speak, to justify yourself, to correct the other person. But in time you'll understand that your silence isn't weakness, it's emotional mastery. Each time you choose silence in a moment of irritation, you're protecting your most valuable asset, your mental peace and your dignity. So the next time you feel rage about to burst forth, remember this: breathe, stop, be silent. Let the noise pass, because in that silence, you are choosing not to be a slave to your emotions. You are choosing to be truly free. Find humor in your challenges. Sometimes to regain your power, you don't need a complex plan or deep breathing exercises. Sometimes a hearty laugh is enough. Yes, a well-timed laugh can completely transform a situation. Has it ever happened that you're on the verge of exploding, of saying something awful, and then suddenly you see the ridiculousness of the situation and laugh? That laughter isn't cowardly. It's a sign that you've chosen not to take life so seriously. It's your spirit telling you that power is within, not in external events. Most people are trapped in the gravity of their problems. Everything is urgent, personal, and feels like the end of the world. But if you step back and view obstacles as part of the game, as temporary trials, you realize you don't need to react with fury, melodramatic displays, or intense stress. Instead, you can respond with lightness. And that lightness, that ability to laugh at what bothers you, is a profound form of emotional intelligence. Did you know that laughter releases endorphins? These substances make you feel good. It also lowers cortisol, the stress hormone. So when you laugh, you're not just changing your mindset, you're changing your body. You're hacking your nervous system, deactivating that fight-or-flight response that leads to so much anger. And the best part is, no one can stop you. You can laugh whenever you want, even in the midst of chaos. Of course, I'm not talking about mocking others or laughing at someone else's misfortune. I'm talking about finding humor in your own missteps, laughing when things don't go as expected. Laughing at your mistakes, your setbacks, the dramas you create that, from an outsider's perspective, aren't so tragic. This laughter is an affirmation of life. It's your way of saying, this situation won't defeat me. I'll float above it, even if it means laughing in its face. And you know what? It works, because every time you choose laughter instead of an angry reaction, you're building a lighter, stronger, more resilient way of being. You're training your mind not to turn every problem into a Greek tragedy. You're learning to lighten the load of things that don't deserve your energy. And when you do this regularly, people around you notice. They no longer see you as someone who explodes over anything. They see you as someone who maintains composure, who radiates good humor, even when everything is falling apart. Ancient philosophers said that we don't choose what happens to us, but we do choose how to perceive it. The philosopher emperor wrote, "Life is what your thoughts make of it." So if you decide to view your problems with a touch of humor, you're changing your reality, not because the problems disappear, but because you cease to be their victim. When something goes wrong, laugh. When someone provokes you, smile. When you make a mistake, learn from it and let it go with a chuckle, because if you can laugh at what frustrates you, it no longer holds you captive. If you find the absurd side of a situation, you're no longer caught in the drama. You're above it. You've gained perspective, you've gained peace. Laughter, used wisely, is an act of power. It's saying, I decide how I feel, even when everything seems against me. It's a bridge that leads you from anger to serenity, from conflict to balance, and every time you choose it, you're building a lighter, more authentic, freer life. So the next time life tests you, before you explode, breathe and laugh, because nothing strengthens you more than the ability to find light in the darkness. And laughter, my friend, is that light. Focus on winning the war, not the petty battle. There are times when you might be right, but lose something far more important. You can win an argument, clearly demonstrate that the other person is mistaken, prove you hold the truth. But if by doing so you sow resentment, hurt pride, or alienate that person, did you truly gain anything? In reality, you only triumphed in a fight that didn't need winners, just a bit of understanding. And in your eagerness to assert your point, you might have damaged something that will take years to recover, a relationship, a connection, trust. Too many people are obsessed with having the last word, with proving they are never wrong. But that obsession isn't strength, it's a symptom of insecurity. Because when you are confident in yourself, you don't need to win every conflict. You know when to be silent, when to let go, when to look beyond the immediate moment and think about the future. Is it worth destroying peace just to prove you were right? What if instead you choose to stay calm, protect what matters to you, and think strategically about the future? Each time you face an argument, ask yourself, will what I'm about to say build something or damage it? Am I acting to nurture this relationship or merely to defend my ego? Often, ego pushes us to fight small, trivial battles, while our true victory lies in being composed, in the ability to think broadly. It's not about surrendering, but about choosing your battles wisely. Sometimes the wisest act is simply to withdraw from the fight without causing hurt, without imposing, without leaving scars. Science confirms this. Relationships that endure, that are healthy and strong, are not built on one arguments but on understanding, empathy, and a forward-looking perspective. Studies show that those who prioritize peace over being right experience less stress, are happier, and have stronger bonds. Because emotional well-being isn't about accumulating victories, it's about knowing when to yield so something more important can survive. And this is where the ancient sages offer a dose of reality. They asserted that one should look beyond the impulse of the moment and act with reason. The wise person is not the one who wins the fight, but the one who avoids fighting when it's meaningless. The wise person isn't swept away by the emotion of the moment. They think, reflect, and act strategically, not proudly. So how do you apply this in your life? Imagine you're discussing something with someone important to you. You can shout, correct, prove you're right, or you can be silent, breathe, and think, what do I want to protect here? This person or my ego? That pause can change everything. You can choose to speak calmly. You can decide not to utter that hurtful phrase which, though it might win you the argument, would break something in the other person. You can choose to sow peace. Over time, you'll see the results of this mindset. You'll have fewer useless conflicts. People will respect you more, they'll trust you. They'll know they can talk to you even if they disagree, that you don't need to impose your views by force, that you see beyond the immediate, that you are not a slave to emotions, but guided by a larger purpose, building solid relationships, preserving your energy, having peace within and without. This isn't about silencing yourself. It's about demonstrating your maturity, because the one who only knows how to fight to win remains a slave to their ego. But the one who thinks about the future, who decides when to speak and when to yield, is building something much greater than a simple victory. They are building a life of peace, and that, my friend, is the victory that truly matters. Make non-annoyance your personal challenge. Every time someone tries to ruin your day, you have two options: react automatically like an idiot, or use it as mental training, and there lies the real game. It's not about suppressing the urge to scream. It's about transforming every provocation into an opportunity to strengthen yourself. Imagine for a moment that each time someone offends you, you're not losing control, but gaining points in a game you created. The game of self-control. A game where your victory doesn't depend on what others do, but on how you choose to respond. Think carefully. What would happen if you treated every tense situation as a mental challenge, not as a threat, not as an injustice, but as a gym for your mind? When you do this, you stop being a victim of your emotions and become the architect of your character. The next time you feel anger rising, tell yourself, here comes another test, let's overcome it. Instead of fighting the situation, you use it to your advantage. You harness it as emotional training, where you exercise your patience, composure, and clarity. It's a radical shift in mindset. It's no longer about forcibly enduring anger. It's about seeing it as part of the process, accepting that emotional challenges are like weights for your spirit. The calmer you face them, the stronger you become. The more you resist provocation without losing your balance, the more control you build. And that control not only makes you feel better, it makes you someone who commands respect simply by being present, without needing to shout. Make this a daily challenge. Each morning upon waking, tell yourself, today I will win the game of self-control. No matter what happens, no matter who provokes me, I will remain calm, I will observe, breathe, and decide, because I am not a robot programmed by my emotions. I'm a free, trained, awakened mind. And if I fail today, I'll try again tomorrow. Because it's not about being perfect, it's about practicing. The key is anticipation. You already know there will be uncomfortable moments. You know someone will say something that irritates you, that a plan won't go as expected. So prepare before it happens. Don't be caught off guard. See it as a mission you were already aware of. And when it occurs, repeat in your mind, here's the test, and I already know how to win it. That mental preparation is what distinguishes those who react impulsively from those who respond intelligently. Ancient sages clearly stated, to conquer yourself is the greatest of conquests. They said that no one can harm you without your permission. In other words, you decide whether something upsets you or not. You have the power, not the circumstances, not the people, you. And that power grows each time you choose not to fall for provocation, each time you maintain calm when everything pushes you to lose it. Over time, this practice becomes part of you. You no longer have to remind yourself constantly. You no longer need to exert as much effort. You simply become more serene, more steadfast, more aware. You no longer react impulsively, but by choice, and others see it. They see you as someone who doesn't break, someone who doesn't need to shout to be respected, someone who masters their inner world. And the best part is that you need nothing external to achieve it. You only need determination, only need to understand that every provocation is a door. You can walk through it and fall, or you can use it to ascend a step in your growth. So each time you feel that spark of anger within you, remember, this isn't a problem, it's a challenge, and you are here to win it. Because not getting angry isn't weakness, it's your highest form of strength. And every day you choose calm, you are winning the most important game of all, the game of yourself against yourself. Accept life and people as they are. One of the greatest sources of suffering isn't what happens, but what we expected to happen that didn't. We get frustrated because life doesn't follow the script we've concocted. We get annoyed because people don't act as we wish they would. But what if that anger isn't the world's fault, but your own misguided expectations? What if true freedom isn't in changing everything around you, but in accepting what is? Acceptance isn't cowardly surrender. It's understanding that life isn't obligated to please you. It's letting go of fighting reality, so you can live peacefully within it, no matter how challenging it may be. How many times have you been upset because someone disappointed you? Because they didn't understand you? Because they didn't react as you would have? But they aren't you. They don't have your history, your values, your way of seeing the world. Expecting everyone to act as you would is asking the universe for a symmetry that doesn't exist. And in that demand, suffering is born. Because the more rigid your expectations, the easier it will be for you to break. Accepting reality isn't being passive. It's recognizing that there are things you don't control. The attitudes of others, life's pace, unexpected changes. If something didn't go as planned, perhaps it wasn't meant for you, full stop. If someone didn't act as you expected, perhaps they're simply dealing with their own struggles. And that's okay, because you're not here to control. You're here to learn to flow with whatever comes without losing your center. Science confirms this. People who practice conscious acceptance experience less stress and feel better, not because their lives are perfect, but because they stopped fighting the inevitable. Imagine it this way. If you're in a storm, yelling at the sky does no good. What you can do is seek shelter, protect your peace, and wait for it to pass. The storm doesn't change because you resist it, but you can change if you decide not to be swept away by it. Each time you're disappointed, ask yourself, is this truly unjust, or does it simply not align with what I wanted? Often, what we call malice or disrespect is simply life being life. People don't have to act as you dream they would. Reality isn't here to please you, and when you truly understand this, you stop taking everything as a personal attack. You begin to breathe more easily, to react with less anger, to live with greater freedom. Ancient sages said that serenity is achieved when you stop resisting what you cannot control. A philosopher emperor said that if it hurts, it's because you allow it, not because you shouldn't feel, but because you have the power to decide what meaning you give to each thing. Acceptance isn't indifference, it's clarity. It's saying, this is what it is, and I will respond from a place of calm, not anger. And that response becomes a daily practice. Each time someone interrupts you, each time something doesn't go as expected, remember, this too is part of the journey. You don't need to understand everything. You don't need everything to be fair. You just need to train your mind to release what doesn't depend on you and remain steadfast in what does. Your attitude, your emotional discipline, your ability to accept without surrendering. Because ultimately, accepting reality as it is doesn't make you weak. It makes you free. It frees you from the burden of expecting everything to work out as you wish. It frees you from carrying constant disappointment. And when you release that burden, you realize you can live lighter with more presence, with more gratitude. Life ceases to be a war and becomes a journey. And you, instead of being a victim of every change, become the wise one who knows how to adapt, grow, and move forward with serenity. Let things slide. Don't take it personally. How many times have you felt that a comment, a glance, or an attitude deeply hurt you, as if it were a direct attack on your worth as a person? But what if I told you that most of the time, it's not about you at all? What others say, do, or even what they withhold is not a reflection of your value, but of their internal state, their own struggles. People speak from their wounds, their fears, their insecurities. And when you truly understand this, something within you changes forever. You stop carrying emotions that don't belong to you. You are not responsible for the anger others carry within. You are not responsible for the pain they haven't healed. If someone criticizes you, rejects you, or tries to upset you, pause for a second and ask yourself, does this really speak about me, or does it speak about them? In most cases, the answer will be obvious. Their words are the echo of their own problems. Their negativity is the projection of their own internal battles. Breathe. Don't react immediately. Don't allow another's venom to enter your mind. Imagine their words are stones thrown into the air. They only hit you if you choose to stand in their way. If you stand firm, conscious of your worth, those stones will fall to the ground without harming you. You don't have to pick them up. You don't have to respond. You can let them pass and continue on your way. This understanding not only protects you, it liberates you. It frees you from the weight of others' expectations, frees you from the constant need for approval, frees you from the emotional prison that makes you react to everything external. When you stop taking things personally, you regain your peace, regain your power, and become almost invulnerable to emotional attacks. Did you know that science supports this idea? Psychological studies show that those who manage to separate their self-worth from others' opinions experience less stress, worry less, and have stronger self-esteem. Not because the world is kinder, but because they learn to protect their inner world. They understood that peace doesn't depend on what others say, but on what one chooses to believe about oneself. Ancient sages summarized it brilliantly. External things do not harm us, but our thoughts about them do. A wise person once said that we should not worry about what is not in our power, and that includes what people think, do, or feel. You cannot prevent someone from criticizing you, insulting you, or unleashing their frustrations, but you can prevent that from entering your heart. How to apply this in practice? Every time someone treats you badly, instead of reacting, take a conscious pause. Think, this emotion belongs to them, not to me. Repeat in your mind, I choose not to carry what isn't mine, and go on your way. You don't need to argue, you don't need to explain, you don't need to prove anything to anyone. Your peace is yours. It's not for sale. It doesn't depend on the world being fair or understanding. It depends on you choosing to protect it as the treasure it is. Over time, you'll see how everything changes. Criticism will no longer sting the same way. Provocations will lose their power, and you'll live lighter, freer, more authentically. Not because people have changed, but because you've changed the way you see them. You've learned to recognize that everyone has their own battle, that not everything is personal, that sometimes an insult isn't your fault but a reflection of another's pain. So each time you feel tempted to take something personally, remember, you are the master of your inner world. No one can steal your peace if you don't surrender it. Stand firm, stay serene, and move forward with your head held high, knowing that your worth doesn't depend on others' opinions, but on your own truth. That is true freedom, and no one can take it from you. Anger is a useless reaction. When someone offends you, when their words sting like a blow, when injustice seems so obvious it burns within you, the easiest, most immediate reaction is anger. To shout, defend, attack, to hit back with greater force. But anger never ever resolves anything. It has never been a real solution. It's just a spark that fuels the fire. Reacting with anger is like pouring gasoline on a fire and expecting it to extinguish. The plain truth is that every time you choose anger, you are giving up control. You are surrendering your power to the lowest impulse of your nature. The enemy of your peace wants to see you react, wants you to lose control, because the moment you explode, you cease to be your own master. You become a prisoner of your emotions. And the worst part is that anger not only fails to fix the situation, but it worsens it. What could have been resolved with calm conversation now becomes a battlefield. What could have been a simple misunderstanding now becomes a major conflict. What could have been an opportunity to learn and grow turns into an open wound that won't heal. When you understand that anger serves no purpose, that it doesn't bring you closer to a solution but further away, you begin to change how you face provocations. You start to value your energy, your balance, your well-being, because every time you explode, you lose something that's incredibly difficult to regain: your credibility, your serenity, your self-respect. It's not about denying that you feel anger. It's natural to feel it. What matters is what you do with that emotion. You can let it dominate and control you, or you can use it as a warning sign, a call to act with wisdom. Each time you feel anger rising, stop, breathe, pause. Remember, you are not a puppet of your emotions. You are a conscious being capable of choosing how to respond. Modern psychology supports this. Studies show that those who can manage their anger experience less stress, have better relationships, and live more peacefully. Not because they are cold or insensitive, but because they learned that reacting impulsively only multiplies pain. They understood that calmness isn't weakness, it's strategic thinking. It's emotional intelligence applied to real life. Ancient sages teach us something very clear. It is not events themselves that disturb us, but our interpretation of them. One of them said that anger is a brief madness. In that state, we are incapable of seeing things as they are. We exaggerate offenses, multiply problems, and end up doing or saying things we later deeply regret. Anger blinds you, it makes you foolish, it robs you of the ability to think clearly. Therefore, the next time you feel tempted to explode, remember that this emotion will not solve anything for you. It will only make things worse. Choose calm, choose intelligence, choose control. Don't let a fleeting emotion steal your peace and dignity. Anger is a poison you drink, hoping the other person will die. Don't be that foolish. Don't expect justice. Create your own peace. We've been taught that life should be fair, that if you do things right, you'll receive the same in return. But the reality is that justice, as we imagine it, rarely exists. Often, good things happen to undeserving people, and bad things happen to good people without explanation. And if you base your peace on the world being just, you'll live frustrated your entire life. Anger often arises from a deep sense of injustice. Your blood boils because someone did something you didn't deserve, or because life treated you unfairly for no apparent reason. But if you wait for the universe to deliver justice, you're wasting your time and energy. You cannot control the actions of others, nor the unexpected turns of life. What you can control is how you respond to all of it. True peace isn't found in a just world. It's built within you, despite the injustice that surrounds you. When you stop expecting things to be fair, you free yourself from an immense burden. You stop being a victim awaiting compensation that may never come. You start taking charge of your own well-being. How? By focusing on what you can control, your attitude, your actions, your way of reacting. If someone treats you poorly, don't expect them to apologize or for life to give them their due. Decide for yourself not to let their behavior affect you. Decide to keep your dignity intact. If life deals you a blow, don't expect it to apologize or compensate you. Decide to get up, learn from the experience, and move forward with greater strength. This isn't being passive, it's being pragmatic and powerful. It's understanding that justice is an ideal, but your peace is a choice. Ancient sages understood this perfectly. They said that we should not worry about what is not in our power, and that includes whether life is just or not according to our criteria. Your task is not to fix the universe, it's to maintain your center amidst the chaos. When you stop demanding justice, you begin to create your own serenity. You stop fighting external battles and focus on the internal one, the only one you can win. This doesn't mean you should allow yourself to be walked over or not defend your rights when necessary. It means that your state of mind will not depend on others acting correctly or on life being as you expect. Your peace is your responsibility, no one else's. So the next time you feel anger over an injustice, remember, external justice is a lottery. Internal peace is yours to build. Focus on what you control, release what you don't, and be your own source of tranquility, despite everything. Always choose your reactions. Here's the truth that will give you total control. You cannot control what happens to you, but you can control how you react to it, period. There's no further mystery. It seems simple, right? But most people live as if they were leaves in the wind, reacting automatically to every stimulus. Someone yells at them, they yell back. Something goes wrong, they get frustrated and angry. They feel attacked, they attack. They live in a constant cycle of reaction, without being masters of their own responses. But you are not a programmed machine. You have a mind capable of choosing. Between the stimulus and your response, there is a space, an instant of power, where you can decide. You can choose anger or calm. You can choose attack or silence. You can choose to be a victim or a warrior. That space of choice is where your freedom resides. It's not about suppressing the first emotion you feel. It's about recognizing it and then deciding what to do with it. You feel anger, okay, are you going to let it control you and turn you into someone you don't want to be? Or are you going to use that energy for something more intelligent? Ancient sages hammered this idea home. They said that events don't disturb us, but our judgment about them does. In other words, it's not what happens, it's what you think and decide to do about it. Understanding this changes your life forever. You stop blaming others and circumstances for how you feel. You take responsibility for your emotions, and by doing so, you regain your power. Every time you feel the urge to react automatically, stop. Breathe. Use that small space between the stimulus and your response to choose. Ask yourself, how do I want to respond to this? Do I want to make things worse or do I want to maintain my peace? Do I want to be a slave to my emotion, or do I want to be my own master? That simple question, asked repeatedly, trains your mind to choose a conscious response instead of an automatic reaction. Initially, it will be difficult. Your body and mind are accustomed to reacting without thinking, but with practice, that space of choice will grow larger. The pause will become more natural, and you'll realize that you have the power to decide how you feel, no matter what happens externally. Choosing your reaction isn't being cold or indifferent. It's being intelligent and in control. It's understanding that your well-being doesn't depend on the world conforming to your desires, but on your ability to navigate it with serenity. So always remember, you cannot control everything that happens to you, but you can always choose how you respond. And in that choice lies your true strength and your freedom. You now have the tools to maintain your composure. This isn't an easy path, but it's worth every effort. It's about mastering yourself, breaking free from being a slave to your emotions and external provocations. Remember, anger stems from unfulfilled expectations. Silence is your most potent weapon. Laugh at your problems. Focus on winning the war for your peace, not the trivial battle of the moment. Make self-control your personal challenge. Accept life as it is, and people too. Let criticism slide. Don't take it personally. Understand that anger resolves nothing. Stop expecting external justice and build your peace within. And most importantly, always remember that you can always choose your reaction. Now that you have this knowledge, the decision is yours. You can continue living like a volcano on the verge of erupting, or you can begin building the impenetrable fortress within you. Calmness isn't something you wait for. It's trained day by day, battle by battle. Choose to be the master of your inner world. Start today. Your peace will thank you.